uusi suomennettu kirjansa Señor Peregrino. Ja mä ajattelin tehdä tämän melkein kokonaan englanniksi, jos se vaan teille sopii, niin saadaan mahdollisimman paljon irti Ceciliasta ja hänen kirjastaan ja hänestä itsestään. Ja Cecilia Samartin on siis Kuubassa syntynyt, mutta Amerikassa suurimman osan elämästään elänyt kirjailija, joka toimii muun muassa myös psykoterapeuttina. Ja tämä on hänen toinen kirjansa. Cecilia, welcome again to Finland.
Thank you. I love Finland and it's wonderful to be here.
Yeah, you've been here at the book fair now for 3 days.
3 days, and the 3 days have gone by very quickly. I've met some wonderful readers and there's a fabulous energy here. I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss it when I go.
Well, Señor Peregrino, a book that I would like you to describe in your own words what it's all about.
Well, Señor Peregrino is a story about a young Mexican girl who was born with a disfiguring birthmark on her back, which makes her life a misery. In fact, many people in the village where she's born describe her as someone who was sitting on the hand of the devil. So she lives in a place where there's great superstition, and there still is in many of the more rural villages of Mexico today. And when she's old enough, she decides to leave Mexico, as so many people do in Mexico, to find new hope and a miracle in her life. A way that she can live normally and have loving relationships. And so she does this, and she has to get a job in order to get the medical treatment that she needs. So she works in a mental institution, a very scary place, and she meets probably the scariest man in the entire place, called Señor Peregrino, which means Mr. Pilgrim. And this Señor Peregrino is at first a very cruel man who is angry and is very distrustful of people. And so it's hard for them to work together. But over time, this changes because Señor Peregrino decides that he's going to trust this young woman with the story of his life. And so he talks about a pilgrimage that he took, the pilgrimage of Santiago de Compostela, which is in the north of Spain. And then the story begins. And it's a story about miracles, about the miracles that can happen when people really believe in each other and trust each other. And it's a story of sacred journeys, and the sacred journey of certainly the old world and the new world, but a metaphor for the journey of life that we are all taking, really.
What inspired you to make this book? I'm sorry.
So many things inspired me. I think one of them is the relationship that I had with my own grandfather, who was in many ways like Señor Peregrino. Also, the work I work aside from my work as a writer, I've also worked many years as a psychotherapist, listening to stories. So I understand the great power that stories have to change people's lives. And I also have a great faith. I mean, I have a great faith in a power greater than ourselves. And I do believe in miracles. And this was a way of expressing that through the story. So, in a nutshell, that is it. And also my family that is very close to me was inspirational as well.
Your parents left Havana when you were 9 months old, or escaped to the States. How much has that inspired you as a writer?
Well, it has inspired me tremendously. Having lost one's country and one's culture is probably one of the greatest pains that you can experience. And I watched my family go through quite a bit of difficulty and trauma and sadness over the years. And I think as a child, trying to understand that sadness was what led me to working as a therapist. And working as a therapist is what led me to try to write stories. And my clients have inspired me. You know, I have heard amazing stories. I have met some amazing characters. And at some point, I needed to write, and I think many people in the mental health field feel this way, needed to write just to keep my own sanity and keep my thoughts clear. And so I see my writing as really flowing from my work as a therapist, because I do believe that stories can be very healing, just as I hope that therapy can be healing. And it is, in my view, the primary intervention is storytelling. It's a way that people have been reaching out to each other since the beginning of time. So I think of that as I write, that this is a story that I hope will entertain, but also something that will offer a respite and some healing and maybe some insight. I know that it does for me as I write. It's sort of my own self-therapy.